The Vanishing Protocol. There was once a secretive organization known as the SCP Foundation. Officially, it did not exist. Unofficially, it was the last line of defense against things that lurked in the dark. Things that could not and should not be understood. The Foundation's mission was simple: secure, contain, protect, and for decades, it did just that. But there was one entity they failed to contain. It was first discovered in 1987, buried deep in the records of abandoned locations. Ghost towns, condemned hospitals, mines left to rot. People who entered these places never came back. Some left behind cryptic recordings, filled with static and whispers that weren't their own. Others simply vanished, leaving behind only a lingering feeling of unease, as if something had been watching. The Foundation labeled it SCP-. It had no physical form, no identifiable pattern, only a presence. It was in the walls, the air, the silence that stretched too long. Those who heard its whispers were never the same. They described figures in the dark, shadows that moved just out of sight, voices that seemed to call them closer. The longer they stayed, the harder it became to leave. One such case took place at the Blackwood Mine. The town surrounding it had been abandoned for decades, its history erased by time. But something remained beneath the surface. A team of urban explorers ventured inside, armed with cameras, flashlights, and the unshakable confidence of those who didn't believe in ghosts. What they found was silence. At first. Then came the whispers. The recordings retrieved from the scene were riddled with distortions, but some audio fragments remained intact. A voice, shaking, whispered, "It knows we're here. It's watching." Then silence. The explorers were never seen again. The SCP Foundation conducted its own investigation. D-Class personnel were sent into known SCP locations with cameras, tracking devices, and radio feeds. One by one, the feeds went dark. One by one, the subjects disappeared. In one recovered transmission, a man's breath quickened as he whispered, "There's something behind me. I know if I turn around." Static. After that, the Foundation changed its approach. They stopped sending people in. Entire areas were sealed off, declared hazardous, quarantined under the guise of environmental contamination. But the disappearances continued. The final memo issued regarding SCP Jastorsos was short. It stated simply, "Do not engage, do not enter, do not speak. If you hear them, do not listen. If you see them, do not turn around. If you speak to them, they will answer. And once they do, you are already lost."